stop anything in the body. All the things that we're going to go into, you know. For many, many years, and I was looking for something more. I was looking for direct contact. I was looking for actual fighting applications. I was looking for getting into the nitty-gritty of how blades worked and how sticks worked and how people actually mixed it up in a real way. We did, plenty of push hands and so-called sparring with Tai Chi, but it really was never very active or particularly realistic. And I have been interested very much in learning how to actually handle myself in real-life situations.
Okay.
And I saw Kali Center. I was just digging around on the internet one day, and I saw Kali Center, saw ITC, called up Paul, I think, chatted with him very briefly, and just took a shot. I had no idea what I was getting into.
Okay, so you're like, okay, 2019, I'm like, you know what, let me try something different. Doing some other stuff here. Let me give this a try, and this is just something that you saw on YouTube?
Pretty much.
Okay, so after, well, let's go back. 2019, you arrive here, first impressions.
The first impressions was that these were serious people engaged in a serious art and a serious download of hard realized, hard-won information. Practically obtained, practically vetted, studied thoroughly, and packaged in a way that made it very clearly uploaded into people's practice and minds.
Okay, and location at that time was the first time you've been to Broken Arrow.
Correct.
Camp, and we performed here on the grass, and then we went hiking to a different location called the Thunderdome.
Correct.
Your thoughts of that? Yeah, because 5 days of the environment. Your thoughts?
I think it's a very, very practical way to get people trained into what real life situations are going to be on uneven ground. One of Paul's and yours very strong educational approaches is to educate people about environmental awareness. What is the actual environment providing for you? Because you're not going to get any of this in a dojo. A nice, smooth, flat floor. Yes, it's great to practice on. It's easy. You can practice your lines easily. But when you have uneven ground, rocks that you're going to turn over, logs to look out for, rocks to look out for, holes in the ground, it's an entirely different game because that's real life. That's what's going to happen. You're going to be walking down the street. Some people are going to maybe ambush you. You got to deal with the situation at hand as it's presented to you, not as it's, wait, sir, I want my flat floor. Or, wait, sir, I want my mirrors.
Right.
No, it's the world, and you've got to deal with it as it's presented to you.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, I know you. We go back and forth, and we communicate with each other. You do a lot of outdoor activities. When you started doing that after the 5 days, what was your thoughts based on the environment? Was it something that was physically easy, mentally easy, difficult?
Yes, I'm outdoors a lot. I mean, I live in Colorado. I hike mountains all the time. We farm quite a bit, so I have a very physical life, and I train every day. Since I got engaged with ITC, when I'm not working, I'm putting in 3 or 4 hours a day practicing. So I'm in pretty good shape. So no, it was not. I mean, was it easy? No. Was it excessively challenging for me to do this? No. I think for people that don't have a pretty physical life, yes, this would be very challenging for folks. Hiking in for 2 miles, working out for 10 hours, hiking back 2 miles after a 12-hour day, it's challenging. And then you're doing it again the next day, and the next day, and the next day, and the next day, because it's 5 days.
Right. So now let's fast forward to 2021, because last year was a little, was a little different. 2020, I know you were busy last year as well. Things were going on, COVID thing as well. So a lot of, some people couldn't stop by. But now 2021, what you saw now, what you see and feel differently now in 2021 with this ITC. What changed for you?
What changed for me was I've been practicing off of the material I've been learning from you and on the internet, and so I was much more able to download some of the information that was there, because the first time around was a complete deer in the headlights. I have no idea what I'm doing. This time around I was much more able to appreciate the subtleties of it, to hear what the language is trying to convey and take it in much more rapidly than the first time. So it was a matter of developing familiarity with the language, because it's a new language entirely.
Right.
And I've got a long way to go, because it's, as you know, it's very complex, very, very deep, and I think you probably spend your entire lifetime doing this and still learn things.
Okay, so knowing what you know now, has Kali made or has it influenced you in the way you look at things outside of just training the system here at the camp or training at home?
It's become much more part of my life, I would say. I think about it all the time. I have my sticks with me all the time. I have knives with me all the time. I think about how I'm going to use them. I run drills in my head. I play out scenarios in my head, and I don't want to make it sound like it's an obsessive thing. It's more fun.
Right.
It's more I'm thinking about the what if scenarios, very much like I do in my own profession.
Right.
I think about with a what if and how would I respond in a given situation, so I'm prepared for it. A little better understanding about how the flow might go.
Right.
So that is one of the outcomes of this particular camp, is that I've seen a real deepening of my understanding of it, which is only going to continue to grow.
I mean, I've seen it. Like the just basically talking about it and saying, hey, let's try this, let's try that. You're able to communicate it properly. Even just the body language, you're able to communicate it very well. Compared to 2019.
Oh, no question.
The people that you're training with, your thoughts on the people? Some of them are new. Some of them are new faces. Some of them are pretty much repeat faces. What's your thoughts?
Most of the people are repeats, and you said something to me, I don't know, 6-8 months ago. We were talking about ITC 2020. You said that some people had asked you, well, where's Mitch? And these were people that I had only met a year before and spent 5 days with, and yet their question of you, is Mitch coming this year, made me feel like I was becoming part of a family. And the 13 or so or 12 people that were repeats here, it was just happy to see all of them.
I agree.
Hey Mitch, how's it going? Oh, where you been, man?
Isn't that
This
wild?
is wonderful. It's fantastic. And the new faces, same. They just fit right in immediately. And to them, of course, I'm a new face also. But all the veterans, if you will, just it's a real camaraderie. It's a real sense of happiness to see them, because we're all training together and we all have the same zeal for getting it done and the same willingness to put up with pretty significant hardship's not the right word, challenge. To work out this many hours a day, it's challenging. It's very challenging. In the sun, in the rain, in the lightning. It just doesn't stop. So you get cold, you get hot, you get wet, you get cold, your feet get cold. It's and everyone's doing it together and everyone's supporting each other.
So then what makes you not want to stop when that happens? Is it also the team as well, or is it just like what makes you not want to stop when those
to give up in those
when those variables are literally pounding you?
I just look at it as training. It's just another set of circumstances to deal with in life.
That's awesome.
And I've lived a long time now, so I've dealt with many, many circumstances in life, and just here's another one. Is it uncomfortable? Well, tough shit for me. I don't care. It's uncomfortable. I'll get over it. I'll be in a bed in 4 hours. I'll be in a shower in 2. I'll be eating a hot meal in 1, whatever, or 5, or next. It doesn't matter. I just it makes me more apt to be able to handle whatever the situation throws at me in the future, and not be limited by my ideas about what I can or cannot do in any given adversity.
Awesome. All right, last question. Well, actually, I might have 2 more questions. Your thoughts about Paul Ingram?
Well, Paul is I've actually asked myself that question a few times.
It's a good question.
As I said, I've been around a long time. I've met some really remarkable people in my life, and I'm very fortunate to have many of those people still in my life. And I would put Paul into that category. He's a very rare individual that has mastery of a very complex and deep art that he continues to study and go deeper into regularly. It's as integrated into his cells as anything that I've seen anybody else do. He's passionate, he cares deeply about his students, particularly when they meet him halfway. If people show up, if they're willing to go through the adversity, if they're willing to take shots to their hands, if they're willing to ask questions, if they're willing to be humble, he gives it all willingly. He gives it all with great heart and great love. And it's a real pleasure and a joy to be around somebody like that. But there's more. He's a student of history. He really has spent, it's obvious, quite a bit of time studying military history, studying history of the great exploits of the Romans, of the Persians, Hannibal. I mean, he's mentioned all of these 3 in the last couple of days. Not just to mention them by name, but giving an impression that he actually knows the stories of what happens there, the Roman phalanxes, how they learned how to fight with each other, and bringing that ancient knowledge which is basically, as he said many times, this is the way people have been fighting with swords for thousands of years.
Yes.
And it still works now. It worked thousands of years ago. And he's bringing that depth of knowledge to training me. And how can I not be respectful and humbled by that and grateful for it?
Yeah. Okay. Last question. Last thoughts. ITC 2021. Anything that you want to say to the world out there?
If any of you have any desire to be seriously trained in a serious art, to challenge yourself to the nth degree, learn more about yourself than you ever thought possible, this is one of the best places to do it. I've been in many, many long-term weekend camps or whatever. I've never been challenged in any one of them to the degree I've been challenged here. And I would say if you want that kind of training in your life, this is the place to be.
Brother Mitch, 2021. I'll see you pretty soon, right?
will be, yes.
See you next year?
Yes.
Awesome, brother. Thank you very much, man.
Absolutely.
Take care. Awesome. Thanks, bro. That was awesome, dude.